Okay guys, we're going to finish in science reading our book, A Man for All Seasons. The life of George Washington Carver. Sorry, you guys might hear the dishes being done in the background there. Alright. All around Tuskegee lived poor black farmers who could benefit from Carver's teachings. These former slaves and their children had little money. They swapped the use of land and tools for a large share of their crops. To reach these sharecroppers, Professor Carver and his students took wagons of food and supplies up the backcountry roads. In his high-pitched, soft voice, Carver explained that dirt was like a living thing. It got hungry and thirsty, needing both fertilizers and water to stay healthy. Few of the farmers listened at first. They were superstitious about growing things and suspicious of change. Growing cotton was all they knew. Carver persisted, explaining that over time fields became tired from growing only one thing. He told the farmers to rotate their crops, planting cowpeas or sweet potatoes or peanuts. If they didn't, soon nothing at all would grow on the lands. Carver especially liked the peanut. It was easy to grow and very nutritious. He created dozens of new things from it. Peanut milk, peanut flour, even peanut skin cream. Convincing other people of the peanut's potential was difficult. One night, Professor Carver invited a group of businessmen to a grand dinner. These people had money to invest in new products and ideas. Carver prepared the food himself: soup, chicken, bread, and ice cream. As they ate together, the men applauded Carver and his cooking skills. Carver smiled. Then he revealed the truth. Every dish in the whole meal contained peanuts. His guests were amazed. Perhaps this peanut business had promise after all. Carver cooked up other surprises too. He repeatedly tried grinding or squeezing or shredding plants and vegetables into different forms. Powdered peanut shells, he discovered, could be preserved into paper. And stringy sweet potatoes made a fine base for useful soaps and glue. Almost always he worked alone and on old equipment in his lab. While investigating a new idea, Carver often forgot to eat or sleep. Keeping records, attending meetings, and making schedules were not his strengths. Sometimes he didn't even remember to cash his own paychecks. Make sure we got all that in there. As the years passed, Carver's fame grew. Farmers from all over wrote him, asking questions. Many people would gladly have paid him for his help, but he refused to consider it. "If I know the answer," he wrote, "you can have it for the price of a postage stamp. The Lord charges me nothing for knowledge, and I will charge you the same." He also traveled widely, giving speeches about his research. Even fame, though it did not free Carver from prejudice and embarrassment, in some public dining rooms, he was not permitted to eat at a dinner where he was the main speaker. Or he was forced to enter through a hotel's back entrance because blacks were not allowed in at the front. Some younger black leaders were disappointed in Carver's silence over these issues. They wanted him to be angry and strong, to use his position to take a bolder stand for civil rights. But that was not Carver's way. His energy fueled his work, not his anger. Certainly the insults bothered him, but it was more important to reach a greater audience. As he once wrote, "The primary idea in all my work was to help the farmers and fill the poor man's empty dinner pail." George Washington Carver spent his whole life fostering his love of growing things. Unlike other things who tried to conquer nature with chemicals and pesticides, Carver viewed nature as his partner. He took equal pleasure in a beautiful rose and the hundreds of uses he devised for the peanut. Long before his death in 1943, farmers and scientists, including many of his former students, began furthering his work. Today, finding natural solutions to natural problems and recycling one industry's waste product into other useful forms are ideas we can take for granted. With this legacy, George Washington Carver truly accomplished the greatest good for the greatest number. Not only for the black people, but for everyone else to see. That was the end of George Washington Carver, this book. All right. I'm going to be uploading some George Washington Carver stuff for you guys to look at. And then we will finish more on him tomorrow.